Aren't these guys amazing, honestly? Like, this blows my mind. I'm so proud of you guys. All right. So we're standing at a turning point, right? Software as we know it, software as a service, apps, even code itself, is about to be rewritten by AI agents. Imagine software that builds itself, even negotiates with other systems on your behalf. That world is not science fiction, right? It's just around the corner, and I mean, like, literally. This shift from human-written code to AI-generated self-maintaining systems will transform not just the products that we use, but entire business models. And it's coming faster, as I said, than we're ready for. That's what we're here to explore today, what this means for software makers, for SaaS providers, and every business that depends on software. And we have a fantastic panel to do exactly that. We have Semin Ibisevic, the co-founder of NextGate Tech and architect of their cutting-edge AI platform, pushing the limits of financial data automation. We have Olivier Beaujean, CIO of Cargolux, keeping dozens of mission-critical ERPs running, quite literally ensuring cargo planes fly seamlessly. And Benjamin Blasco, entrepreneur, Expon Venture Partners with deep tech experience and hands-on involvement in frontier startups. So you can see we've got a powerhouse of a panel here. Before I let them loose, let me quickly set the stage for how I think about AI agents are about to change software. And then we'll see if they agree with me or whether they call me crazy. So, traditional software, version numbers, roadmaps, fixed feature sets is nearing the end of its era. The future is fluid, context-aware. Users will summon capabilities on demand. Interface will be personalized, living experiences that adapt to context and task. Enterprise dashboard and rigid workflows will give way to AI-generated outputs and actions. So in short, software will finally bend to the business and not the other way around. So that's the vision. Now I'd love to hear how our panelists react. So do you see the same thing or differently? Semin, you want to start?
Yes, please. So yes, I completely agree with that. I think that's the direction the software is going. It's a bit like in the past. When you subscribe to a new software, you had to understand how the software works and become really a power user to get out all the features you want to achieve your objectives. And now we're switching that around. Now it's about, okay, what do you want to actually achieve, and let's help with the software to get to that desired outcome. So I completely agree with you, and I think that's very exciting, and it manifests itself in so many ways. It's in the workflows of people, of how you use how you do your work today, but also on the technical side of things. We have now even AI SDKs, generative UIs, and that kind of stuff, which is also super exciting in many ways. So yeah, I'm excited, and I agree with you. It's getting more fluid.
Olivier, your thoughts?
I'm also very excited, work in IT, but I think it's important to distinguish the reality we have today and the hype, the fiction. I think for software development and AI, the reality today is to have a supercharged search tool and an auto-completion or automation tool. That's what we use it today. If you take GitHub for developers, they can create a reusable piece of code, snippets or documentation also, and work much faster than before with only Google search, for example. That's the reality. You can also automate processes and business processes much better and much faster than before. We used to have the RPA, robotic process automation. Now with the LLMs, we can go one step further and add some intelligence. The hype is more around agentic AI. We talk a lot about that. And it's basically believing that already today, the business user could, in his native language, ask for a full application to be developed and behind the scene, the AI agents will do all the work at all the levels: infrastructure, database, application. Will verify the code, will test it, and deliver it to you on a silver plate seamlessly.
So we're not there yet, for sure.
That is not today.
No. But Benjamin, what do you see? Hype then, or?
Yeah, there is a bit of hype, but also of reality. I think I agree with your vision that the frozen software is dying slowly, right? Those versions where you have to wait at 1.1.2, like Windows 49. That's probably the death of classical roadmap, I guess. So, but we are moving to something evolving more constantly. I mean, you just have to see how you use ChatGPT today, right? In the morning, you can use it to write your emails. In the afternoon, to look for data for your work or do some coding. And in the evening, it could be your couple therapy coach. So basically, we are moving from a data-centric software to more something that is more decision-centric, really adapting to your needs. So in B2C, we see that arriving quite fast, already adopted. In B2B, it will take some time, right? Because there are some processes, there are compliance challenges. So we are in between the hype and the reality, I guess.
Yeah, I think this difference between B2C and B2B is something that I was really interested in, and during prep, you said a few interesting things, both of you actually. So obviously, there's in B2C, the adoption is like almost immediate, and we see with the sort of the love or the rage with which users are taking in all these changes. How about in B2B, where you used to these monolithic systems and that you don't want to touch too much because they're mission critical, they're core. So how do you see adoption in B2B? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Olivier.
So yes, I think what will change is the speed of disruption. That we already use a network effect and a marginal cost of new product and services going almost to zero. Now we have the learning effect, meaning that the cost of cognition is decreasing, and it will help a lot startups actually to scale rapidly, to grow fast. With less cost also in the process. So that's a fantastic opportunity. Now for B2B, indeed, big software providers like ERPs, etc., they are building their layer of AI themselves also and selling us this layer. They're not about to be replaced. It's just the orchestration of those monoliths behind that will change, but they will still remain there, and other companies will still take a long time before being able to disrupt. Yeah.
And Semin, you were telling me, you build almost only for enterprise. No, you don't build only for enterprise, but today you mainly have enterprise customers, a little bit of SMEs. So what's the appetite of enterprise for these fluid interfaces we were talking about?
Yeah, well, indeed, it depends of the user persona often, but the appetite I do think is coming. It's not as much profound as in the B2C space, obviously, and I think the reason for that also is because, as what you were mentioning, there's a little bit more safeguards and more compliance, more governance around, and there are processes that are already set in stone, so people are less likely to adapt these new changes. But it's definitely coming there, and I think that's also a message for founders that build enterprise software. So we have to be also prepared for that and start building out these systems that slowly give the control away to these AI agents, for example, but at the same time showing traceability, auditability, and showing that you kind of have the control. I gave that example, I think, last panel that we were speaking with the self-driving cars. In order to jump into a self-driving car, you need to feel that you can press at least a stop button or that you can jump out of the window if he starts to crash. So you kind of have to have that as well in enterprise solutions to start to get this adoption. It's going to come, and I think it's going to come in different stages. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And during prep, we also talked about this difference between context and core. So traditionally, companies, outsourced context software for HR, finance, and things like that, and kept core in some cases. So like for the customer relationships, everything that's really strategic to the operations, they kept that in-house. And so are AI agents erasing that line, or does it stay the same?
Yeah, frontiers are a bit blurring today. For sure, core systems will be protected for still a while. But for non-critical or context, I think there is opportunity for new SaaS to come in and AI-empowered SaaS to develop themselves. It's very easy to build now a little CRM system by yourself, but this CRM system can expand and not only be a CRM system, but also identify a user that is eager to maybe churn. So, and maybe the system can automatically write an email. So slowly it's coming from context to core, because it's almost core to your business to manage those customers.
Yeah, and Olivier, you had an interesting perspective, I thought, also on the same topic. If tomorrow you could rebuild Salesforce from scratch, would you do that? And why would you do it or not do it?
Well, on my side, I would rather put the effort on the orchestration of different blocks behind. That will be the job of the IT in the future. We will create a layer where everything is interconnected and we can interact more seamlessly, like we explained.
So you would not necessarily
I would not
rebuild.
spend all the energy rebuilding completely each solution behind. No, I would more try to integrate and orchestrate with the agents.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting for a lot of the the SaaS founders in the room to hear this kind of thinking, right? In some ways, that does it even make economic sense, because you want to focus on your core systems, on your core strategic objectives. Anything you want to add on this, Semin?
No, I mean, I agree on that. It's I guess when you decide indeed if you want to build out the whole Salesforce yourself, I guess you can ask yourself is, can it be replaced by a chat interface or a chat conversation to achieve my goal? If yes, maybe you shouldn't do it, and maybe try to, what would be more efficient is to connect to that tool that has actually that valuable information around that. So, yeah, it's a good question, but I would see it more like that.
I expect some revolution regarding interface, because we are getting used in B2C or any kind of usage with new interfaces, and I think the best interfaces for tomorrow will be no interface, in fact. It's going to be about conversation, it's going to be about anticipation, so that really trigger a big change in the way we conceive interface somehow. This
And actually it's a very good segue to another part of the conversation, which is this question about whether you would consider AI with human in the loop or human augmented solution or human on the loop. Would you consider that in a different way or in the same way when you buy? Today, where we are, of course, in 10 years it's going to be different. So how do you think about those kinds of questions?
I think I was thinking about the analogy with robotics in manufacturing plants in the automotive industry. So it was introduced the first time in the 60s, and it took almost 50, 60 years now where you have a shift of skills from the worker in the plant, where they do more quality task, assembly, but the painting and all the repetitive tasks or the heavy lifting is done by the robots. I mean, you can make the same analogy with AI in software development, where we will for sure not take 60 years to arrive to a plateau where there will be a productivity enhancement perfect between humans and machines. It will go faster, probably 20, I don't know. But you will have the same shift of skills for software developers. They will not disappear, they will just do different things than before. to reach the maximum optimization level for productivity at one point. Yeah.
And in terms of trust, what kind of trust would you expect? And I mean, both of you, and then Semin afterwards, in terms of what your clients are expecting to have trust in a system that is either fully automated or semi-automated.
Well, I guess it depends of what you're doing and the use case you have. You have to start out with. I think for most what we see, at least in the automation space, what we are working with is that a lot of users, they start out with a little bit of a human in the loop, where basically an AI does a lot of work and then a person validates that, and then the process automation continues.
Because you're with your solution,
Yeah.
you're fully capable of delivering a fully automated workflow, right?
Or you go for fully automated if you are comfortable and you have the traceability. You have basically parameterize your control system, your guardrails, your limits, your budget, and you're comfortable with that. You see it works. Then indeed you can fully automate as well your solution. So that's what we're doing now to help users transition into that new phase. Give them all those individual tools to have them set their limits, have them set their controls, and then slowly adapt them to that full autonomy that we're looking for.
Because, and this is, as you can hear, this is really all around, the question is really crystallized around the user interface and user experience, right? And one of the logical step in terms of what the next question can be is, how can you charge for invisible work, right? And so I asked these gentlemen what they thought about that, because as VCs, as investors, we've seen that movie already 10 years ago with business intelligence software, especially visualization like Tableau. If you looked at the valuation of these firms, they had a very high multiples compared to the companies that were doing actually all the calculation, the heavy lifting, right, behind, but basically driven by CPUs. So you wouldn't see the work, and those companies had a very low valuation. But they were much smarter than the ones that were just doing visual work. So today, if you don't show what your AI is capable of doing, can you charge for it? And if you can't really charge for it, what's the response? What do you do?
We see that today. For instance, antivirus, they're working invisibly and protecting you from threats, and they manage to charge. But of course,
only B2B.
Only B2B.
Not B2C.
Yeah, only B2B. Yes, you're right. So then it's a decision on whether you charge on the economy of scale you've done, or the processes you saved, etc., or if you charge on the resources that the AI is using to run those software. So yes, it's a complex question, and if you don't value what you don't see, basically.
Yeah.
So it's an effort of the software provider to really demonstrate the use cases, demonstrate the business cases to justify the prices.
And I think there's another good example which we see with chain of thought. If you're using any of the models out there, you can see what the model thinks, right? And so, Semin, you have obviously, you don't have an LLM running your system. It's much more advanced and different. So how are you, let's say, let the value show up?
You have to show the value, as you said, and you have to show that with tangible outcomes or numbers. So it could be indeed showing the reasoning of all the individual steps that have been done, the full traceability, or even actual outcomes. This is the amount that we have saved. This is the number of errors that we spotted. This is the number of anomalies we found for you before you actually got flagged around that. So you have to have real measurable outcomes and show that somewhere in the platform to demonstrate that value.
So gentlemen, last word, is software dead, and is software as a service in danger?
I would say no. It's just evolving. It's really not dead. That's why it's pretty exciting, because it's software developers. They also are willing to change because they understand they cannot do otherwise. They have to adapt a bit. As software developer, they should be agile already today. So they're just adapting for tomorrow.
Thank you, Olivier.
Yeah, I think in 2025, code is cheap, that's for sure, but context is priceless. So knowing this context is super important. Therefore, the question is not should we still build software, it's more how to design AI augmented processes that evolve with the users. That, like you mentioned, fluidity. I think this is a target today. So it's not a black and white question, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more. I don't think that software is dead, but definitely a lot of software companies will be dead soon, and there will be a massive death rate there. So the companies that will survive are the ones that are focusing on those things that are least disruptful, and I believe those should be alive, and a lot of other companies will be dead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This was really interesting.